Hi, I'm Pre-Coacher and I'm an account executive here with Allianz Global Assistance. Today I'm standing in front of our head office here in Cambridge, Ontario. One of the questions I get most is, why Allianz? And I could tell you very easily that Interbrand just voted Allianz the #1 Insurance Brand of the Year award. This is an award that we proudly have held for the last 7 years running. Now, while that's absolutely amazing because it's global recognition, for me, why Allianz is actually in this building. So why don't you come with me? First stop, emergency assistance, EA as we call them. This is the first phone call you make. This team is staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So you can be assured that when you make that phone call, someone's gonna pick it up. The best part about this team is for you and your clients, they're gonna take care of you based on your symptomology. That might mean a house call visit at your hotel by a physician, by a licensed physician. It could mean a teleconsult, or it could mean we need to direct you to the ER. Rest assured, they're gonna take care of you. From here, we go to CM. Come on over. CM, which is case management. This team is stacked full of case managers, nurses, medical staff. We have our very own Dr. Zabo, who is the medical director here at Allianz. David, who's our director of medical operations. Their teams collectively are taking care of making sure that we speak to the families of the insured or the insured. We make sure we're speaking to the medical staff at the facilities. We're reviewing medical reports, making sure that you're getting the treatment that you need for your symptomology. The best part is when your medical emergency is over and you need to come home, it might be one of our very own case managers or nursing staff that actually make that journey home with you. From here, I want to take you to the claim shop. Come on over. Claims. We're investing so much money in technology into data analytics, AI, robotics, everything we can do to make the customer journey when it comes to the claim shop seamless and as quick and efficient as possible. We want to make sure that you're taken care of as quickly as possible. And sometimes there's documents that are missing. And individuals like Tiffany here are going to make that phone call to you and let you know what we need so we can make sure to adjudicate your claim.
Here at Allianz Global Assistance, I'm proud to have the professionals in one roof, under one roof, supporting you and your clients. We have everybody from the product teams to the pricing teams, through emergency assistance to doctors and nurses, and claims professionals ready whenever your clients need us. I'm super proud of guys like Preet, my whole team here, who are doing their best to support you and your partners and your customers anytime they're in a travel emergency. We're the best in the business. Happy to have you as a partner. Looking forward to a successful winter travel season.
Welcome everybody. My name is Sasha Opasik and I'm the Vice President of Group and Broker Sales here at Allianz Global Assistance. Welcome to our first episode of Allianz Insider for the 2026 season. Today we're going to be talking about group and associations and what that means for you as a broker and in the broker space. And to help me with this discussion today, I'd like to introduce you to Preet Kocher, who's our dedicated group and associations account executive. Welcome, Preet.
Thanks, Sasha. I'm really excited to be here.
So without further ado, let's get into the weeds right away.
Perfect.
All right, so Allianz recently released the Vacation Confidence Index. And in that report, I think there's two fundamental takeaways. I think the first one is that travel is way up. Travel has been on revenge travel since COVID, right? 2025, we saw a surge, but what's really interesting is in 2026, we're seeing another surge according to the index.
We're seeing a greater surge than last year even. 7 out of 10 Canadians are interested in traveling. There's 72% of Canadians. So 7 out of 10 looking to travel, and 72% of Canadians actually say that they feel far more confident traveling with travel insurance than without travel insurance. Now this is a $48 billion industry. So what's that really tell us?
Well, it's a massive opportunity, and I mean, we're going to hear that, and you and I probably say that several times today, but I think to break this down and add some weight and context to that, so 72% of the Canadian population is 28 million people will be traveling. That's a massive number. And 72% of that number is 20 million that are planning to secure some form of travel insurance. You can't ignore those numbers.
You absolutely cannot.
So what does this mean? Well, Allianz is re-engaging and re-energizing we have to be careful how we say that, but we're re-energizing into the group space with new products, new opportunities, and we're making it easier than we ever have before. But before we dive further into that conversation, I think there's something that we need to address. You and I were in Ireland at a group conference not too long ago, and this topic came up several times. We were asked several times, and I think it's important for us to address that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what Sasha's referring to is that we were asked a lot, why, what do you mean you're back in the group space? Allianz was in the group space and you left. What do you mean you haven't really left? And you know, hindsight's 20/20. And when we really take a look at things, we did a cold look at each other, and we said, it's not that we left, it's that we didn't educate or send the right message. What I mean by that is we used to administer everybody else's products. We were the name everybody trusted. And when I say everybody, I'm talking about the household names when it comes to health and dental. We were the name everybody trusted. We were administering everybody else's product. Now, at the very top of this session today, there was a video that we shared, and it was, you saw myself walking through our building, and it wasn't a wardrobe change. That was recorded a little while ago, but that was really the powerful message in terms of we wanted to really make sure that the customer and the customer experience and the broker experience was taken care of from end to end. We truly do have everything under one roof, as you know, Sasha. But when we're administering somebody else's products, we don't have the control or the autonomy to adjudicate and to actually administer that case in real time the way we should, based on the customer experience, the broker experience, and the full end-to-end experience. By not administering somebody else's products and focusing on our own book of business, we actually have this autonomy to do so.
So we're controlling everything from A to Z. We adjudicate in real time, we escalate in real time, and we make decisions in real time.
100% correct.
Awesome. Now, we mentioned a bunch of statistics. We mentioned the market space. We mentioned the dollar figure that's behind that. But why should brokers be focusing on group and association travel insurance specifically versus individual?
You know, it's not that they should only focus on, change their focus to group and association and take it away from individual. I fully believe that you need to really take a holistic view at the opportunities that are in front of you. I've been at a number of shows recently, trade shows, where I've had unique conversations with broker customers, broker partners. And one of the things that you've always said to me is, just in general conversation, it comes up that, oh, wait a minute, I have associations that I represent. Excellent. Have you thought about actually selling them a group travel product? Add on to their association fees or their organization fees. The increase is marginal, but the coverage is the value that you. It's almost like taking this intangible product and actually starting to make it a bit more tangible.
So, again, just to get a little more granular.
Sure.
A group product differs how from an individual product? So for example, in that same scenario, a client comes up and says, I'm traveling, they go online or they talk to their broker, I'm going to Mexico, I'm going for this long, they purchase a policy. How is that different than a group program?
The difference really is that the group program covers the entire group of individuals. The individual product only covers the individual product. When you're talking about premiums, so that individual product, you know, the average premium these days is somewhere in the neighborhood of $300. The group product, for very similar coverage, is a fraction of that price. Now the difference is that the group product does have to have a mandatory enrollment, right? And we can talk about that. Whereas the individual product obviously is just covering one person. The group, you're covering a larger group of individuals, whether they're chiropractors or nurses or musicians.
So, technically speaking, a group could literally be anything to a certain extent, or is there caveats in that?
To a certain extent, yes. The caveat is that it's mandatory enrollment. So that's one big key differentiator. You get mandatory enrollment. We have 3 tiers of products. We have a medical-only product, a medical with trip cancellation, trip interruption. And we have a comprehensive product. The comprehensive product is the medical plus the trip can, trip interrupt. It also gives you travel delay, baggage delay, and baggage loss.
So I think now, with everything that's going around the world, that's probably some of the most important coverages that people are looking for. I recently have been traveling the last 3 weeks, and I've had 2 trips canceled. Interruption, it was a mess to have to deal with. But if you look at geopolitical issues, you look at what's happening in the United States under the Trump administration, you look at what's happening in Venezuela, and now some murmurings and rumors of what's possibly going to be happening in Cuba. The demand for travel is up, but so is the turmoil and unexpected events that may go along with travel, and I think this is what's really important. Further to that, although most people, or many people, have group benefits, they don't actually realize what that travel component covers, and the vast majority is only medical.
It's medical only, you're absolutely correct. So now, for pennies on the dollar, you can actually offer, instead of just a medical only product, you can offer a medical with trip cancellation, trip interruption, or that comprehensive product that I was talking about, the full suite of protection. The great thing is that the broker, you the broker, actually get to suggest which commission rate you want, as low as 0, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You get access to wholesale pricing, and you get, on top of that, we also have additional programs to help you layer opportunities and values. I'm all about layering. I am not about single solutions, and I think this is really what sets us apart. I would like to think, let's not just offer one solution for this scenario and one solution for this scenario. Let's look at the holistic picture, and let's figure out all the various components we can add in, so that as a broker, you are not only adding substantial value and protection to your client base, but you're also being able to maximize your revenue and increase your touch points, which again substantiates that increase in revenue in different methods.
So I think to make it a little clearer, I think it's important for brokers to realize that you could sell a group or an association.
Absolutely.
And once you sell that, there's opportunities within that. So for example, somebody picks, let's say the program is 30 days.
Sure.
For the constituents and the membership, but somebody's going on a trip of a lifetime. They're going all across Asia with the family, but the benefits that they have in the group are not enough. The coverage isn't enough. So in that case, what you're saying is they could top up with our program to cover the shortfall.
To cover the shortfall, to cover family members that they're taking with them, the grandparents as an example, that don't have coverage through the group plan. We have a really cool loyalty program that offers a preferred rate to the membership. And that, again, like I talked about layering, this is just another program you can layer on top of the group offering.
So the pricing would be different than the constituent of the group is paying, but they would have access to top up or add additional members to the family.
That's right.
At our retail products or the product shelf, but at a preferred rate that they can't
That's
get anywhere
right.
else.
Not at a retail rate, at a preferred rate, correct.
Okay. Now, what if a broker isn't comfortable selling travel insurance? You know, some brokers say, well, this is a great idea. I have lots of clients. I have lots of people to talk to, but I steer away from this because my comfort zone, it's not there.
And it's more than that, Sasha. Sometimes it's a comfort zone, and sometimes it's a lack of time. You know, they're really focused on their core offering. We talk about this all the time, that travel products aren't necessarily the core competency that these brokers work with. And for that, what I like to say is that we have you covered. We have a various number of solutions. You can be as hands-on or as hands-off as you want to be. You get to dictate the terms. Allianz has gone ahead and created a number of tools, and not just tools. I mean, tools, yes, APIs, web URLs, customized web URLs to drive traffic to, marketing collateral so that you can send out on a frequency or ad hoc as you like to your membership about reminding them of the various programs you have in place. We are really trying to bring this forward on a silver platter so you get to choose your level of engagement.
So opportunities now, right? We're talking about sort of the programs and what those programs look like. But, let's share with the audience, how can you use these? Where are some of these opportunities? What is the definition of a group? What constitutes a group? These sorts of things I think is important for us to touch on.
Yeah, it's a great idea, or sorry, a great point. What constitutes a group? A group, so the minimum enrollment is 10. It's mandatory enrollment, so you have a group of individuals, whether it's chiropractors or musicians or whatever have you, but these groups of individuals are represented together. They have some sort of a membership or an association type due, and they are together. They've come together with the same uniqueness, if you will. Mandatory enrollment, I think, is the key one, and a 10 life minimum is the other key topic.
So somebody can't just go outside here and find a group of 10 people and say we're a group.
No, those are friends.
Those are friends, that doesn't count. All right, so this brings us in a great segue into one of the topics in conversations we have the most often, and that is specifically our preferred rate association program, both in a group model and an individual model. And I think this one we're going to spend a few minutes on.
Yeah.
We got a lot of questions on this and a lot of interest on this. So can you explain that to us?
Absolutely. So I keep talking about layering. So we have our group. I think group travel benefits is pretty self-explanatory, if you will, and not just employer-led groups. We're talking about associations or associations of chiropractors, associations of musicians again. We also have what we call our loyalty program, which allows us to give our standard book of products, our full suite of products, at a preferred rate. Now again, exclusive for individuals that are currently doing business with you, not available to just the general public, because then there's no exclusivity anymore, right? The other thing is, so you asked a very interesting point about what were sort of the key differentiators between the groups? Well, what if we had a group of individuals, but you didn't want to make it mandatory? Well, that's where we can still leverage our loyalty program for your larger group. We can again curate a very customized URL to drive for the chiropractors, and they can have their own URL, own branded page for purchasing our standard suite of products at a preferred rate.
So essentially, if we use that, your favorite chiropractor scenario, so we got chiropractors, one option is our association program.
That's right.
Where the participation is mandatory.
Right.
Now, if for whatever reason the constituents say this is not a program that we want to enter, but we still would like to have access to travel, then we can offer a preferred rate individual program for them where it's an opt-in and not mandatory.
That's right, and like I said, it's Allianz's full suite of standard products. So everything, all your outbound products, your regular medical product, your medical with trip cancellation, trip interruption, your trip can and trip interrupt standalone product, as well as your inbound products, your visitors to Canada and your international students.
You know what's interesting is when we look at travel insurance, and specifically the credit card space, everybody knows they have coverage on credit card.
That's
I hear
right.
that all the time. However, why can't travel insurance be embedded in different lines of products? So for example, why can't it be part of a life insurance program? A lot of life insurance companies are adding living benefits to end-of-life products. But the reality is the usage and the utilization is low. You're offering something that looks good, but the utilization isn't that great. If you look at travel insurance with the statistics and the numbers that our index found, there's a massive demand and a massive amount of interest. So this is something and a conversation for those that might be on this call that have access to underwriters, those that create products. Why couldn't we offer it on a home and auto policy? Why couldn't we offer it on a commercial policy? We have one of our partners who's doing commercial renewals for groups, and what they're doing is offering home, auto, and travel included as part of that offering to that larger constituent group. So this is sort of the out-of-box thinking where you can use something that people actually want to use and see value in.
I fully agree with you, and that's the beauty about Allianz is because we're in control, we have the ability to have these very thoughtful conversations and really understand. Again, I said this earlier, we really want to understand your book of business, and we want to help you add value to your membership, to your broker clients. We want you to be in control, not just of the value, but of the maximum, to help you maximize your revenue earning potential.
So I think in summary, it's important to really capture what we talked about, and it can be done really easily. So groups and associations, you've got your traditional groups. We could be a wrapper, we could be a carve-out if you want to do that. TPAs, for example, where they're creating their own and structuring their own programs, you could add our travel to that. And of course, on the association side, the sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
We've got traditional associations where you can embed coverage. We've got traditional associations where you can offer an opt-in model versus a mandatory. And then, of course, there's the creative side, which is, I mean, bring us opportunities. We're open. And I mentioned a few of them that people are doing. And again, I guess the sky's the limit. So if you have an opportunity, the best way is to get in touch with Preet or our business development team. The contact information will be at the end of this presentation. I think you don't have to solve for everything. We can have a conversation. We can gauge the opportunity and the size of it and what we're able to do for our broker community. So if there's anything else you want to add, Preet, that I left out before we wrap up?
The one thing I just want to say, and you say this best, if they're not buying it from you, they're buying it from someone else.
Well, you heard it from Preet. So with that in mind, I think that's a really important statement. If you remember nothing else from this presentation, remember the stats speak for themselves. Simple math suggests that half of your book of business, regardless of what line of business you're in, is buying travel insurance. And again, just to reiterate what Preet said, if they're not buying it from you, they're buying it from your competition. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to the next one.